Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my July 2023 book haul. I bought a total of, I believe, 11 books in the month of July. This is what it looks like. I'm hiding with the titles at the moment. I'll show you them in a moment. But that's about average for my book buying habits. Some of these are really interesting. I got from a variety of different genres this month, and let's see what we have. The first book on my July book haul is A Hymn of Battle, a hymn before battle by John Ringo. I've read John Ringo's the two of the three books in his Troy Rising trilogy, which includes Live Free or Die, Citadel, and Hot Gate. I will be reading Hot Gate soon, and so that would be complete my trilogy. And he's not my favorite author, but there's certain things I enjoy about him, and so I thought, I'll try out. This was his first ever book, so I thought I'd try it out, see a different kind of science fiction story from him. So that's Hymn Before Battle. It's the first book in a series. Let me see, what's the name of the series? It does not say what the name of the series is on here, but it's the first book in a series. The next book I also have is a fantasy novel by Tad Williams titled The War of the Flowers. This is a standalone fantasy novel, and I got it for really cheap at my local used bookstore. And I read two of his books before, two of the three books in his Dragonbone Chair trilogy, Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. And I liked the first book fine. It didn't grab me. And the second book I thought was okay. I didn't love it. His prose is a little flowery, which is ironic considering I got a book from him called The War of the Flowers. His prose is a little flowery, but I wanted to give him a chance from something else. So I figured a standalone where he's not having to set stuff up, where it's just a single book, I can read it and see if I enjoy it. I still probably will someday get to the third book in Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, but because it's so big, Green Angel Tower is just so huge, I don't want to read it yet. And this is a pretty big book. I think it's it's about 800-something pages. But since it's a standalone, I feel like I feel a bit more comfortable about reading it. So I'll get to read this eventually. So I bought that book. I also bought a trilogy of books from Mark Lawrence, an author I've never read before. Of course, I've seen a ton of people review him on YouTube. People on YouTube love him. But his Book of the Ancestor Trilogy, which includes the books Red Sister, Gray Sister, and Holy Sister. This is first, second, and third book of the Ancestor, and these, for one thing, I like that they all kind of match design-wise. They each show one of the main characters on the cover, and this trilogy in mass market, it just reminds me of the mass market I have. I don't know if you could see it, but of the Shannara series that I've bought and read, and I love the Shannara books. And so I don't believe the story is going to be like that, but the book design reminds me of it. And these were super cheap. I got them for like less than $2 each. And so I thought, you know what? I'll give them a try. That'll be worth giving it a try. So that is the Book of the Ancestor Trilogy. I got 3 books there. All right, the next books is another trilogy that I bought at the used bookstore. This comes from A.C. Crispin, the Han Solo Trilogy, which includes The Paradise Snare, The Hutt Gambit, and Rebel Dawn. This is one of those trilogies in the Star Wars Expanded Universe, which is incredibly well loved, incredibly really people enjoy it. I mean, not everyone enjoys it, but they talk about it a lot. For a lot of people, this is Han Solo's introduction, his backstory for them, and some people don't enjoy Solo. I loved the movie Solo, but it kind of changed things from what this book series did, so I'm intrigued to see what this book series feels like. A.C. Crispin, fantastic Star Trek author, who also came over to do these 3 Star Wars novels, and she did some of the short stories for the Kevin J. Anderson short story collections. So the next book I'll talk about is Jane Lindskold's Aurora Borealis Bridge. This is the second book in her Overwear series. This is a fantasy series where 3 older women get sucked into this fantasy world, and they have to help these kids who are kind of anthropomorphic animal humans who have like the bodies of humans but the heads of a fox, or the head of a deer, or the head of a lion, and they have to help them out in their quest for various things. I've read the first book, and I will be reviewing it soon if it's not already up yet. And these covers form kind of a triptych. So you put these two together, and they actually basically are one big cover. So I'm excited about that. I enjoyed the first book, so I got the second book so that I can talk about it. Also, I bought the book Stephen King's second Dark Tower novel, The Drawing of the Three. I read Stephen King's Dark Tower, Book 1, Gunslinger, and the review is either up or it will be up soon. And I wanted to buy the second one to give it a try. Next, I have another Star Wars novel, this time in hardcover, Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. This is one of the first Star Wars books I ever heard about, because on a podcast that I used to listen to, one of the podcasters, he was notorious for not liking to read books. But there was one book in his life he had read that he loved, and that was Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. And he raved about it. And a few other book podcasts, like Star Wars Bookworms, have talked about their love for this book. And a few of my friends have read it and enjoyed it. And so it comes from that era where they were producing quite a lot of prequel content. And so I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. I believe I will. I think this will be fun. And last but not least, I purposefully saved this for last. I have had a very nice viewer who has been very gracious and generous to the channel. This is the viewer, Hymns Are Beautiful. Hymns Are Beautiful. And this viewer has given some super chats in the past. And this viewer has been encouraging me to read the Divergent. The Divergent series. And so I use the money from the super chats that this viewer sent in during my live streams. And I do live streams once every month or so. And I use the money from those live streams to pay for the first Divergent book that I was able to buy. And so I am very excited to get into this, to talk about it. I've been reading more YA in middle grade and quite enjoying it. And I've heard interesting things about this series. So I'm intrigued to see if it holds up or if it doesn't. So those are the books that I purchased in the month of July. And by the way, thank you again to Hymns Are Beautiful for the super chats that I used to buy Divergent. But if you have read any of these books, let me know which ones were your favorites and least favorites. Let me know which ones you've read. Let me know which ones you're interested in reading as well. But until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.